Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well. Welcome on into a Friday. As far as your weather goes, patchy fog this morning, warmer, mostly sunny with a high of 66, getting warmer Saturday, 74. Cooler with clouds in the low 60s on Sunday. And by the way, Nashville's morning news powered by Tennessee National, Golf and Waterfront Community. Joan and Sam, you know, I don't often go out on a limb, but this morning I'm going to, and I don't know if I'm putting my job at risk or not.
Uh-oh.
And I'm a little nervous about doing this. I want everyone to know I'm not suicidal. I feel great. No problems with me whatsoever. Okay?
This is an excellent start, Dan.
But I'm just going to tell you that I have received video and audio from Hillary Clinton's testimony yesterday regarding Epstein.
You're about to be suicided.
Now, as you know, this has not actually been officially released yet, but you know, Joan and Sam, I've got contacts. And so I have some audio and some video that we can't show, but I have some audio that I'm going to play from yesterday's testimony of Hillary Clinton. All right, so I'm not suicidal. I feel fine. Hopefully, I'll make it through the broadcast after I air this video and audio.
Look, Mrs. Clinton, we don't want to be here all day either. So just tell us how you killed Mr. Epstein, and we can all go home, okay? I mean, everyone knows you killed him. Just tell us how you did it.
Okay, look, I knew the guards were asleep. So I took the keys, I turned off the cameras, I went into Jeffrey Epstein's cell, and I saw him sleeping. So I just grabbed one of his shirts and I choked him with it. He kind of woke up, but I actually think he enjoyed it because he was smiling as I was choking him, which was kind of strange. But anyway, I made it look like a suicide, and I got back home just in time for dinner.
I mean, crazy, right? I mean, that...
The theatrics really make the story.
I love AI.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm going to go ahead and repost that because it is just so darn funny. By the way, that actually did not happen, just so we're all clear. Actually, it doesn't seem like a whole heck of a lot did happen during the testimony yesterday with Hillary. I think there's going to be a lot more that happens today with Bill Clinton. But there is a lot of people talking about Hillary Clinton and her testimony yesterday. So she came out swinging in her deposition. A picture was released by Lauren Boebert, which took like the whole thing off the rails almost immediately. So apparently Lauren Boebert, she snaps a picture, leaks it to Benny Johnson, and he posts it. All heck breaks loose within the Clinton-Epstein testimony because that was not allowed. And so they stopped the testimony. The Clinton lawyers stopped the testimony, and they said, you know, if they're going to break this rule because this was against the rules, well, then what else are they going to break? What other rules are they going to break? Her opening statement was exactly as you'd expect. And by the way, as I said, it is true that no audio or video or not even any transcripts have been released yet from the testimony of Hillary Clinton. She said that she never met Jeffrey Epstein. She blasted Donald Trump, asked why they were not investigating the president from the Daily Mail. Hillary said if the majority were serious, it would not waste time on fishing expeditions. There's too much that needs to be done. What is being held back? Who is being protected? And why the cover-up is part of what she had to say. By the way, you know, she did receive, I know that I've mentioned this before, Hillary did receive, even though she says that she had never met Jeffrey Epstein, $20,000 donation from the disgraced pedophile in 1999 when she was fundraising for the DNC. But anyway, this is what James Comer said, leading the proceedings, said about those proceedings. Again, this is James Comer.
Well, she said many times under oath that she had never met Jeffrey Epstein. The reason she was asked so many times is we kept presenting new items of evidence, emails from Epstein where he implied that he was very close with the Clinton family, including Hillary. Emails that implied that he set up the Clinton Foundation, that he was one of the biggest donors and one of the main early seed money raisers for the Clinton Global Initiative. And when we asked about that, Hillary said she didn't have anything to do with the Clinton Global Initiative at that time because she was a U.S. senator. So she was asked many times about questions with respect to Jeffrey Epstein because there were many forms of evidence in the documents that have been released by the Department of Justice and the estate that included her name in there. And she kept saying not only did she not have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, that he was a shyster and he was a con artist and all of that.
So the question is, all right, so do you buy that they never met? That's number one. Number two, it doesn't surprise me that he gave a $20,000 donation from Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, she was married to Bill Clinton. Use the term married in air quotes. But, she was married to Bill Clinton, and clearly those two, they were partners in crime. Now, this is what she has said about Jeffrey Epstein in the past.
We have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work.
Right. By the way, here's the weird thing, the funny thing, is that she said that she was willing to talk about it. She said that Bill was willing to talk about it. Why did they have to subpoena the Clintons to come and talk to them about it? I mean, this has been a 7-month process, and there were all kinds of negotiations. So I love how she's like, oh, yeah, we've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. Really? Because they were actually going to be hit with a contempt of court charge if they didn't respond and if they didn't come talk to James Comey. Here's more.
I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it, to me, is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about.
Right. She is going to keep going after Donald Trump, talking about that. And again, she says that she never met him, did get that $20,000 donation. And the focus right now is to hold those who were in his network accountable. I mean, he's dead. Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison. So now the question is, and it is a big question, who is abusing the girls?
We are more than happy to say what we know, which is very limited and totally unrelated to their behavior or their crimes. And we want to do it in public because let's make this transparent. The survivors deserve that. The public deserves that. But, the Republican member of Congress who is running this hearing or this investigation is trying to protect the president. So let's get to what's really at stake here.
So there you go again. She's coming out swinging. This was a deposition. That is a formal interview. Those are almost always done in private. So I don't know, Joan, I don't know if you've read much of this. Sam, I don't know if you've read. I don't know what, if anything, was gained. We'll have to see what the what the transcript shows, what the video shows. And go ahead, Joan.
Did you watch that press conference she held afterwards?
I did. I've got some audio on that coming up.
Yeah, so she kept on saying things like, it was so repetitive. They kept on asking the same question over and over again. And talking about how boring that was. But in my head, I'm hearing, well, if you answered the question, perhaps they wouldn't ask you it again.
When you have to ask the question multiple times in different ways, it means that they're not answering the question, right, Sam?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As an attorney, she should know she's about to get the repetitive questioning. I don't know what she's so shocked about.
Yeah.
They try every which way to get you to slip up and crack on an answer. So
Well, and they're also trying to find inconsistencies in the story, right?
Yep.
So there's that part of it as well. So Lauren Boebert sends out a picture. I guess what she did was she literally took a picture, Hillary and the lawyers up there. They did this at a performing arts center near their home. I mean, they didn't want to have to come all the way to Washington, D.C. and so forth. So all of these senators, or I should say these congressmen, had to go to Chappaqua? Is that how you say where they live? Chappaqua?
That's it.
The Chappaqua Performing Arts Center. And so the way that I can tell, Hillary is like up on the stage and the representatives are like maybe down in the seats. I have no idea, but Boebert takes a picture, and she sends it off to Benny Johnson, and Hillary and her lawyers lose their ever-loving mind. Have you heard what Lauren Boebert said after the proceedings? Oh, it is very funny. I've got that audio coming up next. Anything going on in traffic? Do I have to do the whole formal thing? All right.
No, I don't think so. So you do have a problem. Paving going on in Whites Creek on 24 westbound, Old Hickory Boulevard North to Whites Creek Pike. That's it.
So Lauren Boebert takes this picture, sends it to Benny Johnson. Have you seen the picture, Sam or Joan?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just her sitting at the table.
I noticed that I noticed that there was a pitcher next to her, and it had bubbly in it. So, like, she had to have bubbly water, Perrier in a pitcher.
You sure it wasn't vodka?
Well, when you mix the two, you don't really notice. So it could be.
Listen, if I were married to Bill Clinton, I would need a lot of vodka, too.
Well, I'm sure it goes great with horse tranquilizers.
Oh.
So Lauren Boebert was asked about the picture she took. This was her answer. Listen close.
I just returned to my hotel room and installed a bleach bit software and took a camera to my iPad. So I guess in regards to any photos, I do not recall.
You don't remember taking the picture of Clinton?
So if you didn't get the references, right, she, when Hillary did the whole delete the files off of her computer, she said that she bleached her computer. BleachBit is an actual program these days that will delete files. And remember, she took hammers to the hard drives and all that.
Peen hammers.
Yeah. So I actually, Lauren Boebert, I realize that there's a lot of room to criticize her, but, she can be a hoot. She really can.
I just returned to my hotel room and installed a BleachBit software and took a camera to my iPad. So I guess in regards to any photos, I do not recall.
You don't remember taking the picture of Clinton?
So apparently Hillary was also asked about Pizzagate and UFOs. So I don't know why they would go down. Chris Handel have a field day with the whole Pizzagate thing. Bill Clinton facing his grilling today. They will no doubt ask him about his many trips on the Lolita Express. The pictures of Clinton in a hot tub with a woman or girl. The face of that person is redacted. And why did Epstein keep a bizarre oil painting of Bill is it a blue dress or a red dress?
Blue.
Is it a blue dress? Okay, it's a blue dress. Why was there a big oil painting of Bill in a blue dress in Jeffrey Epstein's home? So I would like to know.
Bill Clinton was wearing the dress?
Yeah, Bill Clinton was wearing a blue dress in the painting.
What color was Monica's dress?
Monica's dress was blue.
Ooh.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Is it the Monica dress?
It could be the Monica dress.
You know what, Sam? You got to do some research.
I mean, it's one of the conspiracy theories circulating about that painting is that it's a stab at the Lewinsky situation.
Of course it is.
Isn't there a white spot on there somewhere?
Stop.
What? I didn't say anything.
You did.
I did not. I actually did. I'm sorry. Okay, so speaking of Bill Clinton, this was funny yet awkward. Follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. Have you seen this, Joan? Megyn Kelly came out last night with a picture of Bill Clinton, and it's not good for the former president. She's speaking to Tucker Carlson, and she drops this. Listen.
And this is my own piece of evidence that he wasn't shamed at all, where a friend of mine and her friend at the time, this is 1999, were in a bar and Bill Clinton was there. And would you look at can you see this picture?
Yes.
He is looking down the chest of my friend Meg Florence, and that's my other friend in the foreground, Abby Rittman. Here's the crazy, you probably know this place. They were from, actually just asked them, where was this? The Bombay Club.
So it's a picture of Bill, and this is, circa 1999. And I wish I could show this on YouTube, but I can't. So
put it on Facebook. Put it on X.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. Follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. So it's a picture of Bill, and he's posing with a couple of girls. They're about 20, so they're not underage. But he is looking right down the top of one of these girls. And it is just, it is flagrant that he is looking down the top of this girl. And, he's got that Bill Clinton look, And the point that...
Aren't those some nice I'll stop.
Bodacious. You can fill in the blank.
Okay. Anyway, so I was just going to say Hooters, but whatever.
In D.C.,
Yep.
1999, he was there with his wife and daughter.
Yeah, so he's there with Hillary and Chelsea, and he's posing for a picture with these two young women, and he's just looking right down the top. And somebody got a picture of it. It is funny. It is very funny. The point that Megyn Kelly is making is that he had just been impeached for the whole Lewinsky scandal. And so Megyn Kelly says, yeah, this proves that the former president simply was not ashamed of what had happened with Monica Lewinsky.
He was
Clearly
ashamed
not.
he got caught.
Oh, he was sorry that he got caught. Did he ever apologize for that? I don't even know.
I
Did
don't
he
think so.
apologize? No?
Maybe apologize for the lying. I don't think he apologized for the thing itself.
Well, anyway, this is, if I'm going to defend Bill Clinton here, there's not a guy in the world who has not snuck a peek. Sam, back me up on this. Don't leave me hanging. You know how guys are. We know how guys are.
Single men, sure.
But when you're there with your wife and children,
that's a whole nother.
That's a whole level of sleaze.
Now, Chelsea, turn your head real quick while I take a gander.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is he didn't ask her to turn her head. He's flagrantly sleazy.
And that's why they call me Slick Willie.
Yes. Yes, it is.
James Comer leading the investigation and the depositions. Here's more of what he had to say.
And what you're seeing is there is accountability finally happening. You've seen at least a dozen very powerful people, men and women, who have already resigned, many in disgrace from their board positions.
Yeah, that was Comer last night on Sean Hannity's show. So yesterday, I think this was after we got off the air, the head of the World Economic Forum has now had to step down. So, I mean, if you're keeping track, you've got the guy from the WEF, you've got Prince Andrew, you've got Peter Mendelsohn, you've got, of course, Bill and Hillary Clinton being grilled yesterday and today, respectively, Bill Gates, Obama lawyer Kathy Rumler, which I told you about a few days ago, Thomas Pritzker, Larry Summers, former Norway Prime Minister Thorbjorn Jagland, attempted suicide after the investigation was announced, and a guy by the name of Peter Attia resigned from CBS News as a media contributor, and there's more than likely, we'll have to see, but there's probably going to be a lot more. We'll have to see as the investigations do continue. We'll continue to cover all of this for you. And by the way, I've got a reporter from, I want to say, The Hill, later on today, going to give us a preview of what's going to happen this morning and later on today with the testimony of one Bill Clinton. I have a bold prediction, Joan.
What is it, Dan?
That I'm going to be spending a lot of time at Charlie Daniels Park this weekend with Riker and his plane.
Does this mean that we need a tall ladder
Probably
dispatched to the area?
Probably. So you know what happened just very quickly. What happened last time we went? Not the first time the plane got stuck in the tree. He actually managed to get the plane stuck in the tree a second time. Now, anybody who's ever been to Charlie Daniels Park knows how big that place is. I've actually got a video, Joan. So I was able to get the plane out of the tree by throwing rocks and branches at said plane. And after about 20 minutes, I was able to hit the plane and it came lofting down off of the tree. So as it was getting dark and people were continuously laughing at Riker and I trying to get it out of the tree. I've got a video, though, and I was debating whether or not I should post it because it is actually pretty funny. But Riker wanted me to film every single plane takeoff, right? So I was filming one, and it is flying around. And this plane goes, zoom, turns around, does a 180, flips the whole thing, and it smacks some lady right in the butt.
No.
I mean, it was like he couldn't have done that if he tried.
Oh, my goodness.
Right in the derriere.
Older lady, younger lady, like What are we talking here?
I would say she was, I guess maybe I didn't really look at her face. I saw more of her behind, and it's hard to tell. But I think she was probably about, I don't know, 40s maybe.
Got to tell him to turn the targeting system off when he flies.
It was like, how did you do? And she was cool. I mean, she didn't get mad. Thankfully, she recognized the humor in the whole thing.
Yeah. Thank goodness, right?
Derriere is a great airliner name.
Derriere Airlines.
Derriere Airlines. That'll be, the next Epstein-type plane. Anyway, so. What? I don't know. You two are so sensitive today. People actually didn't like my joke about the, what was on the blue dress.
Oh, really?
No. One person complained about my joke about what the blue dress and the whole thing that I said in the first segment. Not going to repeat it, though.
It's clearly he was talking about someone dropping mayonnaise from a sandwich.
That's exactly what it was. Anyway, moving right along. So that's going to be my plans this weekend. Really looking forward to it, and
you're going to have a beautiful weekend for it. Oh my goodness!
It is going to be really, really nice, and so I hope people have a great weekend.
Is this playing at the end of its rope now? It sounds like it's been through a lot.
No, it's still flying high. Okay. Actually, he's got two because we ended up. Allie, our friend Allie, remember I told you the story about how she made her husband with the ladder and get it out of the tree the first time?
That poor guy.
So, very, very nice guy and love him as a couple. Thank you very much. We ended up buying him another one. So now he's got two. So he's now flying the original one that we've, now been able to manage one way or another to get out of the tree twice. And if you know anything about Charlie Daniels Park, you know how big it is. So I don't know how he manages to keep going over the fence and into the tree. It is stunning, but whatever. Hey, do you want to play some Fun with Audio?
Oh, we love this.
We love Fun with Audio. So this is where we Joan and Sam, we respond to audio in real time, and audio that we have not heard. Now, we know that New York Mayor Mamdani, I don't know if you saw there's a video. It's a horrifying video. But a couple of police officers, we talked about this yesterday. It's an additional video of these officers getting pummeled with snowballs and ice balls. Supposedly some rocks were packed into the snowballs and so forth. A couple of people, I guess, have been charged. One guy was let off by one of these. You know who it was? It was the Brooklyn DA. What's that guy's name?
Bragg,
yeah. Old Bragg there, the DA there in I think it's the Bronx or Brooklyn, whatever it is. Alvin Bragg dropped the charges against one of these guys that pummeled the cops with one of these, ice-packed snowballs. And somebody said on Twitter, and I totally understand that, it would not surprise me, because Mamdani is not taking this seriously. It would not surprise me, Joan, if there is a massive walkout of the New York Police Department, because you have, as the police officers are getting pummeled and they're getting into a van so that they can leave the area, you got all of these degenerates in New York that are doing this happy dance because they were able to attack all of these police officers and force them to leave the scene. And Mamdani he does not care. And it is so infuriating to watch as New York continues to further disintegrate into lawlessness. And you know what? I feel really bad for the police officers, but I hope New York burns. I do. I hope that New York ultimately ends up in a massive pile of crime and crap.
You know what he'll eventually do.
Mamdani?
So let's say those massive walkouts happen. People are just, I'm done being a cop in New York. The mayor's not going to stand behind me. Well, then he's going to appoint a quasi-religious-based oversight council to act as a police force, and now you've got the implementation of Sharia law, and actually he gets what he wants out of that.
There you go.
I think that's what he's got him for anyway, and I hate to use that phrase, but I think that's what he wants.
So Senator John Kennedy, of course, we all love Senator John Kennedy, was talking about Mamdani and the whole 2 forms of ID to shovel snow. This is John Kennedy on Fox News.
So, this is obviously a little problematic for Mayor Mamdani, given the Democrat stance that it would be, so atrocious for you guys to pass the SAVE Act and have people actually have to show ID to vote.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the mayor. He seems like a nice enough guy, but he must think there's an award for being stupid. I mean, the American people look at this stuff, and they're aghast. You're going to require somebody to show not one form, but 2 forms of ID in order to shovel snow, but not to vote. I mean, it's a silly dispute. Everybody has ID. Everybody could get ID. I can tell you the way my people back in Louisiana feel about it. They feel about it they tell me, if you can't figure out how to get an ID, you probably shouldn't be voting.
So did you see the memes, Joan and Sam, where it was like black people and married women crying because they were not allowed to shovel snow?
Yes.
Very, very funny. And you know what? Sadly, it is true. And so now we have a situation, and this is in the news today. I'll do more of a deeper dive on this. But this is the headline from the Daily Mail. Did you hear this? Donald Trump is now being urged to declare a national emergency to take power over the midterm elections as the president is pushing for a voter ID bill. So basically what the president is being urged to do is call for an executive order, sign an executive order mandating certain rules for the midterm elections. Now, I don't even know if he can do that because, of course, as we all know, the estates are supposed to be the ones that execute elections. I'll get into all of that coming up out of the news at 6 o'clock. But Washington Post had the story. This came out, I don't know, yesterday at some point after we got off the air. Apparently, it is a 17-page draft of a presidential executive order that supposed Chinese interference in the 2020 presidential election that would allow Donald Trump justification to declare a national emergency. Now, there was an attempt, Chinese interference, in the 2020 election. Joan, do you remember, we all love Chuck Grassley. Dude's old as dirt, but I mean, yeah. He still has all of his faculties. But do you remember the story in I think it was about 2020, right around there, where the FBI, they found like thousands of Chinese purchased American IDs.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that story?
Yes.
So the Biden FBI killed the investigation into that because they didn't want to contradict what the then FBI director, Christopher Wray, had said under oath, I guess, in his testimony that said that there was no evidence that the Chinese were trying to interfere in our 2020 election. Well, so the FBI just basically, not only did they drop that investigation under Joe Biden, that, we had all the receipts, we had all the fake IDs. But Chuck Grassley said, we have the receipts. But the FBI under Joe Biden said, no, we're not going to do an investigation into this because it would contradict what Christopher Wray had to say. And the whole thing was just, it was disappeared.
Yeah, disappeared despite nearly 20,000 fake U.S. driver's licenses were seized at Chicago O'Hare from shipments, mostly from Hong Kong and China. Yep. In another case, over 14,000 fraudulent IDs were seized in Cincinnati in 2020, with 97% originating from China or Hong Kong. A smaller but similar seizure included 2,000 fake IDs in Memphis of 2020 and another 743 in Chicago in 2022. They were hidden in packages like toys or jewelry boxes.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't widespread, people. This was a very isolated incidents.
Can I ask this question? How much is widespread? Like I want to know what the Democrats would constitute as widespread. I've often said, and I think I said it to Hans von Spakovsky, I've always said this. It doesn't have to be widespread. It can be a few counties in a couple of states. That's all that you actually need.
That's the same argument with the violent criminal deportation. Well, it's only a small percentage. It's still like 60,000 people that have been charged with some of the most egregious crimes on the planet. That's a whole small town.
That's exactly right. And a lot of dead Americans, frankly. Let's see here. As we continue on with Fun with Audio, Gavin Newsom is trying to blast J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. He was on the briefing with Jen Psaki. So this two big-time brain trust of Jen Psaki and Gavin Newsom, as Newsom is trying to take out Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. Let's listen to what he has to say.
There are some people waiting in the wings in the MAGA world who would love to be the chosen ones of the Trump orbit. J.D. Vance is one of them. Marco Rubio is one of them. Do you think they can carry on the MAGA flame here?
No, but Vance, for whatever reason, scares me.
Why?
Almost more than Trump.
Oh, you see what's going on here? Joan,
Yes.
You see what's going on?
Yes.
He knows that he's going to be running against J.D. Vance, and so he is. And I mean, gosh, this was something we talked about, Joan, months ago, where he kept talking about, Gavin Newsom kept talking about Donald Trump, and I said, when is he going to make that pivot, not only to J.D. Vance, but when is he going to make a pivot to defending his own record as opposed to talking about Donald Trump? Because his record, Gavin Newsom's record, is not defensible. You cannot defend his record of what he has done to the state of California and to America.
I don't know. I just, I mean, talk about a guy who put a mask on and his face grew into it. I mean, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio were two of the most effective critics, just like that guy, what's his name, Lindsey, of Donald Trump. What frauds.
Ooh.
What's his name?
Big words. Yeah, what's his name? Lindsey Graham. He's only been in the Senate for like 1,000 years.
What phonies.
You know what's so funny about Gavin Newsom calling? Remember, Fun with Audio is we're responding to this in real time. I think Gavin Newsom is the biggest phony you'll ever see. I mean, the things that he says as he tries to defend his record, he is the biggest phony out there. And all you have to do, Joan, is look at what we've seen with Gavin Newsom in the last couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
Remember where he talked about how he's got, what is it, a 960 IQ, and he can't read as he was trying to relate to the black audience and then to a couple of white people on his podcast. He's talking about how he roared through, 13, 14 chapters of the book that they had written. Gavin Newsom is the biggest phony of all.
Oh, yeah.
But J.D. is a unique fraud and phony, and he's a little more dangerous. And the folks around him, these are not folks that believe. I mean, listen to some of its biggest funders, the way they talk. There's a nihilism to the way they talk about the world. I know these guys.
Nihilism.
This is the same man who, during the COVID closures, found himself at a very expensive restaurant partying with others in a big super spreader event. Right?
You're absolutely right, Joan. By the way, nihilism basically is a negative perception on everything, which is so weird because, and Sam had to tell me.
That's right. You're a big fat phony.
That's right. I'm dumb as Gavin Newsom is, apparently. No, I thought I knew what it meant. I just wanted to make sure that I knew what it meant before I used it on the air. So Sam, of course, bailing me. Sam, what does nihilism mean? But when you look at the Democrats and how dour they are on everything, I mean, they've been saying that Donald Trump is going to destroy the United States for how long? It seems to me like he's doing a lot of good for the United States. You know, and nihilism is another word for like a dystopian attitude. You know what I'm talking about?
Now you've Googled it.
No, I didn't Google dystopian. Is dystopian another? No, I didn't.
Big word. You think he?
No, I've always used dystopian. I didn't. You know what? Check the tape. I didn't Google anything. I'm sitting here with my hands in my pockets, actually. Anyway.
You're not playing with the knobs?
I'm not playing with the knobs.
Okay, I'm just checking.
You know what? You two, is this the way today's going to be?
Touch
you know
my
what?
knobs.
You know what? Joan works from home in her PJs, and she's just getting a little sassy. That's what's happening. Anyway.
But I don't have a nihilistic view, so, there's that.
There you go. You know what? The more that Joan gets to work from home, the less dystopian and nihilistic she becomes. All right, more from Gavin Newsom.
Literally know them, not figuratively know them. Some of them are in the book. Knew them back when. So, again, I don't want to be overly hyperbolic about this, but, but that said, it's going to be hard for Trump. Trump's still, you think this guy is going to sit there in the Oval Office waiting for you to ask him a question and say, well, sir, Jen's not here. She's in Iowa with the debate with Vance. There's no damn way on earth. So he's going to try to run this out till right after the end until he can pick and choose who goes behind him. Or, God forbid, we don't take back the House of Representatives. He may be on that ballot.
I don't know where he's going with all this. He keeps talking about Donald Trump wanting a third term. Trump has said over and over again that he is not interested in a third term. He actually spoke about the Constitution. So that is, and I like how he's, Gavin Newsom. I don't know if you noticed, but the tone in his voice, Joan, very serious, very dystopian or nihilistic in nature.
Yes.
Do you want to see the kind of people
Dour.
who'd be voting for Gavin Newsom in 2028?
Sure.
Yeah, this is a reaction to the State of the Union address, and Brett Trussell is a very young, dude barely looks 20, Democrat voter, and he gets kind of owned by a black conservative woman.
I think very often minority demographics.
That's not true.
No. So this is the thing where
That's
the
not
suggestion is it's going to keep the black vote down. I've got two black panelists here. Ajwa?
That's not true.
Do you have ID and proof of citizenship?
Yeah, and if I need a copy of my birth certificate, it's just a matter of going online or going up to the department and asking for it and showing.
What's so complicated about that?
There's nothing complicated about that.
But this young man sitting up here disparaging people in a live TV studio audience because he has been brainwashed by the Newsom left into believing this kind of stuff.
All right. And by the way, so coming up next, we are going to talk about what is going on. Donald Trump, the leftists are freaking out, basically saying that the president is going to take over the midterm elections.